I heard that. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to tonight's edition of I Heard That. I'm your vibe mistress, Stephanie Renee, and joined, as always, by my co-hostess with the mostess, Sharice.
Hello.
And clearly, she is missing one of her tropical vacations because Sharice is responsible for tonight's theme, which is
Taking it to the beach.
yes.
I love the beach. I love the beach. That's why when I go on vacations, when I initiate the vacation, and even when I participate in the vacation, 9 times out of 10 it's going to be somewhere where there is an ocean, a sea, a beach, some sand, a whole lot of sand. Yeah,
all them things. Well, the reason why I was laughing is because we were talking about being away for other sad reasons, but I was thinking earlier today about how many global beaches you and I have seen and visited together.
Yeah.
Quite a few.
Yes. We started out traveling, and that's the only thing we ever did was go. Matter of fact, I think that's the only thing we have ever done is go to tropical and locations where there's a beach, and we use that beach every time.
Yes, we do. Yeah. Unabashedly so. And I was gonna say we have definitely not traveled any place cold.
No, because who want to do that?
That's not our thing. I mean, some people, they go to like Norway to go see the Northern Lights. I think that's wonderful. I don't know. I'll wait till the next time they dip far enough here. Maybe go to Canada. I just listen.
That's as far north as I'm going. I've been to Canada because I'm a person who I don't have a bucket list, but if I could fit it in, I would like to see the wonders of the world. 7, 8, however many they said. They changed the list so much, but I wanted to see the Niagara Falls when I was on business in Buffalo, so that's what I did.
Yeah,
and beautiful. I recommend it highly. Just like the Grand Canyon, highly recommend. But you have to love nature. You have to be one of them those nature people, because to really, well, I guess maybe not. If you just want to check off boxes, you can do it. But for me, I really appreciated Niagara Falls. And again, that's as far north as I'm going.
Listen, I'm determined to do all 7 continents.
Yeah.
And
I've got that today. Like I would love to see all 7 continents.
I've got 2 more. I should have been to Australia by now. So I'm late with that. But that's warm. Antarctica is not. And so So I have to do it just because I want to be able to check that off of my list. Right. But me and cold we're not cool like that.
One of our viewers, Veronica, who recently, my coworker and friend who recently retired, she signs on here as Walking with Lady V. We were just again today this conversation about traveling, And she's like preparing, starting her process of getting ready to go to Antarctica. And I was like, girl, I said I want to visit all 7 continents. What am I? 1, 2, 2. I'm only on 2, I think. Yeah, because I
North
haven't
and
been to
South.
Europe, I haven't been to Asia, I haven't been to Africa. That's 3. Australia. That's 4. I'm on 1, and I've been to South America. That's it.
Yeah.
I'm
Wait,
missing.
there's 7.
Antarctica. Wait, I don't know.
You've been to Europe? No.
No.
With all of it, not even on a layover?
No.
Oh, we got to fix that. All right.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, but you know what? It's because, and I can do Europe because I Spain and Italy are like, those are 2 countries that I would like to visit. Italy and Spain.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but we say all this to say, ladies and gentlemen, that
yes, I'm
we
sorry,
are very enamored of beaches.
Yes, and this is how our conversations go. We go all over. We forgot for a minute that we are like recording all this stuff. Sorry, y'all. Sorry. We just having conversation at this.
But we're gonna zip through the playlist tonight because most of our songs are about this long, so it's gonna go fast. But thank you for bearing with us for our little tangent.
Yes,
we love the beach, and tonight you're gonna hear songs that conjure up all of those feelings that if you enjoy the beach like Sharice and I do, then you will definitely appreciate tonight's playlist. And especially because we are starting with an artist that we only got for a very limited time. And, when we talk about soul, this is Soul Sanctuary Media. When we talk about soul, he is definitely in the conversation.
Yes. And lost him at the young age of 26, even though who would believe that if you just looked at this man? He looked like he's about to retire. He looked like he was up there, but he was way down there. He was only 26.
I know.
But even though he died so young and tragically died young, he made a lot of music, and the music that he made is some of the best music and most memorable music and most awarded. Like, he's got a lot of accolades in living just to 26 years old. And this song is not the beach, but beach adjacent.
Yes.
Because when you're sitting on the dock of a bay, there's an ocean, there's a body of water there, and there's probably some sand there as well.
So there's probably it's at least a lake.
Yeah, it's at least something water, us water babies that we can appreciate. I'm talking about Otis Redding. And this song, Sitting on the Dock of the Bay, was released in 1968. It was the first posthumously released album of his after he died in a car crash, in a plane crash, with several members of his backing band, which was the Bar-Kays, which were also the backing band for most of the acts on the Stax record label. Back in 1960, I want to say it was 1968, but it might have been the end of 1967 when this happened. And there was one survivor of that crash, and it was one of the band members. And he probably survived because the last thing he did before he woke up right as the plane was crashing and like unbuckled his seatbelt.
Mm-hmm.
And then he was like, the next thing he knew, he was in the water, clinging to the cushion, the seat cushion. And because he was not a swimmer, he couldn't help anybody else. So it's the tragedy of it all. He never saw Otis. Otis was already gone. But there were other members who had survived the actual crash, but they weren't swimmers either. So he's hearing his people, his brothers in music passing away around him. So he lived with that, that trauma until he passed away himself years later. In 2015, he passed. But let's go back to the good thing about it all is that between Otis Redding and the Bar-Kays, we have all this wonderful music that everyone considers classic at this point.
For sure.
26 years old. He didn't even make it to the 27 club.
Right.
He had just made it to 26 when he passed. So, but just think about the fact that a 26-year-old, he might have looked like he was, in his 40s.
Grown.
It's weird because he looked like he was in his 40s, but he looked like a good 40. He didn't look like he was dogged out or nothing. He looked very vibrant and healthy. He was big and strong and had a wife and kids and all that stuff. But they just looked older. I guess maybe because they dressed differently back then. Everybody wore suits all the time. Everybody had haircuts. You didn't see them without being groomed when they walked about in public. So that could have been a reason why they looked older back then. But anyway, Otis Redding was only 26 when he passed. And this song, Sitting on the Dock of the Bay, I had to listen to it to hear there's seagulls in the song. But when I hear the song, I instantly think seagulls. So
yes,
this is why it fit into the theme for me of, taking it to the beach. And that's it.
All right. Well, that's how we're kicking it off tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Otis Redding. Let's hear it.
Sitting in the morning sun, I'll be sitting when the evening comes, watching the ships roll in, and then I'll watch them roll away again. Yeah, I'm sitting on the dock of the bay, watching the tide roll away. Ooh, I'm just sitting on the dock of the bay, wasting time. I left my home in Georgia, headed for the Frisco Bay, 'cause I've had nothing to live for, and look like nothing's gonna come my way. So I'm just gonna sit on the dock of the bay, watching the tide roll away. Sitting on the dock of the bay, wasting time. Look like nothing's gonna change. Everything still remains the same. I can't do what 10 people tell me to do, so I guess I'll remain the same. Sitting here resting my bones, and this loneliness won't leave me alone. Listen, 2,000 miles I roam just to make this dock my home. Now I'm just gonna sit at the dock of a bay, watching the tide roll away. Sitting on the dock of the bay, wasting time.
I heard that. Man, people think that the 3-minute song rule is something recent. It's not.
No, it's not. That's how it was in the beginning.
Yes, they were like, don't bring no long. And then listen, and when hip hop came out and started doing 12 inches, those people had to fight to get that stuff on the radio. People were like, nope, nopey, nope. And then, and now look at it.
Yes, yes.
But we're back to the 3-minute rule at this point.
I like the shorter songs because it gets to the point. You know what I mean? I do like
audience, look at me. Look at me. If you have been with us since even close to the beginning, you know that I consistently have to fight with Sharice because she is always trying to get the long play songs on here.
I do. I mean, I just want y'all to hear all the good stuff. That's
all. I'm just saying.
But this is, well, back then it was 3 minutes or less.
True.
And Otis Redding this album was his 7th studio album. He was making a lot of music, and I swear sometimes I'm like,
no time.
Yes, I'm like sometimes when people die young like that, and then we go back and look at what they did before they passed, I'm like, it's almost like subconsciously they know they're not going to be here that long. It's so weird because I've a couple of people that when you think about Chadwick Boseman, the quality of the legacy that he left behind was crazy, and he was young. And then I have a friend of mine who passed. He was only 41 when he passed, and I didn't even realize he had been in the military. He had been a police officer. He was running Iron Men. He was doing all this, learn a whole nother language, all this stuff in that little short amount of time. And it's like sometimes when you look back, you're like, oh, I should have paid attention then, but then you don't want to be paranoid. Oh, you're doing too much. Calm down. What you trying to tell us?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, when you have someone who dies, he was only 26 and had already released 6 studio albums and had recorded enough to release multiple posthumous albums.
Yeah.
That's a lot. That is a lot.
It's a hustle. I mean, we celebrated on one hand, and at the same time, you're like, I wonder how much his wife and his kids saw him. If you were hustling that much, and clearly if you were recording that much, you were out on the road performing to help support that. He was on his way to a gig when the plane crashed. You know what I mean? So
on a tour.
So balance is important, y'all.
It is.
And that's why you need to take it to the beach when you can, so that you can have those moments of rest and restorative energy.
Yes.
It is important. And that leads me to my first song of the evening, because there are modern day examples of people who are like, while the light is shining on me, while I have y'all's attention, let me do 80 bazillion things. Right. And I'm really not mad at that on one level, but I also want everybody to live enough in between so that you are writing, and all of those things that you share with the world are coming from a genuine place and not a man-made sense of urgency. Right. And so that's something that I think about when I think about Ledisi. Yeah. I have delighted in her recordings. I got a chance to see her at Carnegie Hall a couple years ago, which was magical. Singing the music of Nina Simone. And very shortly, she just released an album a few months ago, and very shortly we will get her tribute album to Dinah Washington. So she's working. She's doing a lot of working, but I know a lot of people are familiar with her first major label release and didn't know that she released 3 albums independently before she got picked up by a major label. So for those people who love Ledisi like I do, appreciate the New Orleans in her. Mm-hmm. And even though she basically made it big after she moved to Oakland to really dig into, to survive without that hometown scene, and to challenge herself to be the singer that she knew she could be. One of the albums that she released in that independent time was titled Soul Singer. So clearly appropriate for this program.
Yeah.
And this song, when Sharice gave me the theme for tonight's show, I was like, oh, that's going on here, because it has the sound of the surf very much invested in it. So if you are unfamiliar with Ledisi's earlier work, then I hope that you will deeply appreciate this song. So again, from the album Soul Singer, this one is titled Free Again.
On these wings of love I climb, trying to fly me over the sun, trying to fly me over the sun. And when I reach the other side, I know that I'll be free again, free again, free again. On these wings of love. In my eyes, breathe into me, take a breath of all my pain. All I hunger for is peace of mind. Sometimes I just wanna leave this world behind. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Shed my worries, cast away. I think I'm gonna get out today and just fly up to the sky. On these wings of love I climb, trying to fly me over the sun, trying to fly me over the sun. Yeah. When I reach the other side, I know that I'll be free again, free again, free again. On these wings of love, I climb, I wanna be there, yeah. And when I reach the other side, I know that I'll be free again, free again. Please listen to me. Hear the years that have gone by. Feel into me, yeah. Feel my yearn to want much more. All I hunger for is peace of mind. Sometimes I just wanna leave this world behind. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Shed my worries, cast away. I think I'm gonna get out today and just fly up to the sky. On these wings of love I climb, I'm climbing over the sun. I wanna be there, I wanna be there. When I reach the other side, I know that
So that song, so for those of you who don't know, I talk about my love for New Orleans a lot. But before the pandemic, I used to make an annual Hajj to New Orleans just so I could go to the banks of the river and cry. It is a city that I have very strong spiritual connections to. And, you know, that is the place. And there are other places in the world that I feel strongly connected to. But in the United States, New Orleans is that place where I literally go and lay down my burdens by the riverside. So there is the whole tone of that song from Ledisi conjures up that feeling in me. Like, you know, she's like, I got to be free again. I got to let go of all of this, whatever it is,
Right.
is holding in, it's in me, and I got to let it go so I can be free again. And so that sense of just going where sun meets surf meets ocean, you know, all of those things, and just release it to whatever entity you pray to.
That's a song that I could absolutely hear being played at Villania, the first
Yes.
played in Montego Bay all those years ago. Many of you have heard me talk about this house.
And the crazy people associated with it.
Listen. But what was beautiful about the house is that it was a small house, but it had so many rooms in there. I don't know how it worked. And it was set up perfectly for people like me and Stephanie who
exactly
just all hop, skipping, and jump from the airport, literally behind the airport.
Yep.
Literally at the end of the runway of the airport.
Mm-hmm.
And the backyard was the ocean.
I was going to say 4 steps from the deck to the ocean.
And the
Right
deck
there.
was beautiful. It was a huge deck, beautifully laid out and everything. And what we used to have, and you didn't have to go anywhere because if you were in that ocean, you would hear the music. If those of us who know it's house music season right now, you know those big giant speakers that they have in those parks. These speakers weren't even as big as those, and yet they projected the music all the way out to the ocean. So we had music playing while we were in the ocean, or while we were on the patio, or while we were, doing whatever on the little balcony next to where we always stayed upstairs. And there was always music in the background. And this was one of those songs that I could definitely hear being played on that system. Like, yes. Immediately, that's where it took me. So, and there was no beach at this house, but the beach was next door at Sandals. The ocean was the backyard, like I said, and we stayed. Yeah. Oh, I stayed in that water too much. I got sunburned twice. I ain't want to get out to reapply or to apply, sunscreen. But anyway, yeah. Great,
well, thank you. I'm glad you felt that. Even though like the actual sound of the surf is until the very end of the song, it's like the wind, like you feel everything beach related is in the way that song was crafted. So I really appreciate it for that. Yes. But you are with our next song, you are taking us not just into the land of doo-wop, but also into this literal idea of being at the beach.
Yes. This song is one of those that it's instant classic. Mm-hmm. Although it was released back in 1964 first. It was first released in 1964, but then it was remade about 75,000 times.
Yeah.
Multiple artists. And but this version of it, the original version, was inducted into the Grammy Hall of Fame in 2014.
Okay.
And it's by the Drifters. Now, and it's called Under the Boardwalk. Okay? And first of all, we don't go under the boardwalk. I don't even know who them people that was going under the boardwalk back in the day. They were very adventurous because ain't no way you would catch me under anybody's boardwalk. somebody drag me under there, and you better come get me. I ain't going under there on my own. But anyway.
Well, they were going under the boardwalk because they needed some privacy.
I know, and again, I say I ain't going under there I'm not going there on my own volition, because critters live under the boardwalk, crabs and stuff and all kinds of bugs and stuff. No, thank you. Privacy where something they gonna jump up on you and pinch you or bite you or crawl up. Yeah.
Let's leave that thought right there.
So the Drifters. This was another one of those groups that had a lot of personnel changes. That was happening back then because of drugs, because of ambition. I want to go solo. They, all that type of stuff. But you might not know that Ben E. King, who's famous for "Stand By Me," was a lead singer for the Drifters. He actually sang the lead on "Up on the Roof."
I did not know that.
I didn't either. Like, wow, okay. So and he left, and the member who was one of the lead singers, he was supposed to sing Under the Boardwalk, and I'm sorry, every song I got is laced with tragedy. Sorry. He died from an overdose the night before they were supposed to record. So they gave the song to the other lead, and it turned out to be a good thing after all, because again, this song, not only did it went to the number 4, it reached number 4 on the Billboard Hot 100, and then on the R&B Cashbox Magazine's R&B chart, it went to number 1 for 3 consecutive weeks. And like I said, the Drifters recording of Under the Boardwalk was the one that was inducted into the Grammy Hall of Fame in 2014. So, I mean, all's well that ends well, I guess. Sorry, rest in peace to my boy Rudy Lewis, who should have been on this track but didn't make it. And then we had Johnny Moore, who actually sang the lead. And again, Ben E. King was a member of the Drifters. And I feel like maybe a long time ago I learned that, but it's one of those things that don't stick with you because we know him as a solo artist. So, yeah. But all that to say, we are under the boardwalk. Don't be under the boardwalk, y'all.
Sharice is playing the song with a PSA. Let us finger snap and enjoy the classic tune.
Yes.
Oh, when the sun beats down and burns the tar up on the roof, and your shoes get so hot, you wish your tired feet were fireproof. Under the boardwalk, down by the sea, yeah. On a blanket with my baby's where I'll be. Under the boardwalk, out of the sun. Under the boardwalk, we'll be having some fun. Under the boardwalk, people walking about. Under the boardwalk, we'll be making love. Under the boardwalk, boardwalk. From the park you hear the happy sounds of a carousel. You can almost taste the hot dogs and french fries they sell. Under the boardwalk, down by the sea, yeah. On a blanket with my baby, that's where I'll be. Under the boardwalk, out of the sun. Under the boardwalk, we'll be having some fun. Under the boardwalk, people walking about. Under the boardwalk, we'll be making love. Under the boardwalk, boardwalk. People walking above under the boardwalk will be falling in love under the boardwalk, boardwalk.
I heard that.
Classic. Short song.
Get out. That's it. Ain't got time for all that.
Yeah, listen, I hear that, but I appreciate, I mean, for somebody not to be the first string choice to sing the lead for that song, that crystal clear tenor, man, it is so deeply appreciated. For the groups back then, they didn't have to do a whole lot of acrobatics.
No.
It just straight and clear and crisp.
Very effective. And I think that's why, for me, that's kind of like why I appreciate people who just sing. I love runs. I love all the running. I love scatting. I love all that. I love it all. But I'm always going to be more drawn to, or first drawn to, people who just sing. And I think it's because I really, really love the music from the 60s and the 70s, when there was not as much of that. Even in gospel music, there wasn't a lot. It was just like people was just singing. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's why I really, really, really appreciate that.
And, yeah, listen, I hear you, Tashawana. Everybody, like, even if you are not a swimmer, and Lord knows there's been a lot going on the beaches this summer, but there is something about being able to carve out a little space on the shore and get comfortable. And then you got to bring all your accoutrement, right? Because you got to have a good, comfortable chair. You got to have an umbrella so that when you don't want the sun, you can be well protected. You got to have snacks. Ideally, you got your little, it doesn't have to be loud, but a little speaker. You can get a little something combined with the waves and the sound, kids laughing, all of the things. Like, being at the beach is an experience.
Yes, it is.
It is a sensory experience.
Yes, it is. And it's an investment, because like you got to want to go, because dragging all that stuff on the sand. Listen, that will have you sitting up under the boardwalk, because you don't want to go too far out so that you can't drag all that stuff.
I'm not going to say where my friends and I have found our happy place in that regard, but I will say that it is a hike from where you have to park to get to the place on the beach that we enjoy. Oh, but is it worth it? Because it's just not crowded like other beaches. But that whole thing, what you just said, lugging all that stuff with you.
It's on the sand that makes it hard. Ugh. I go to parks all the time, and I have a wagon that I put all my stuff in there. It's easy. And it's very easy up until you get right when you get off whatever paving they have done, and then have to drag on that sand. It's a whole different world.
Ooh, child. It is more than a notion. That's all I'm saying.
They have not figured out a universal way to get through that daggone sand yet. So you gotta want it. I promise, you gotta want
it. Well, Brian is co-signing the fact that Ventnor Beach is legit. So, I appreciate that recommendation, and we'll have to see now that school has started. Maybe it is a little more accessible.
Yes.
So I will consider that before the warm weather. I won't say summer, before the warm weather is officially gone for the year. But I think you all are going to be a little shocked. The same way I was shocked when Sharice pulled out Supertramp on our last show. You all are probably going to be a little shocked at the next song, but I think you will appreciate. Once you hear this, then I'm sure you will appreciate it. I was not a known entity, or I should say, k.d. lang was not a known entity to me until the Dick Tracy soundtrack. Now, if you know me, you also know I am a fool for soundtrack music.
Yeah.
Because that's where you get all the diversity in styles. You get unlikely pairings. You get introduced to new artists you've never heard of before, all those things. But on the Dick Tracy soundtrack, there is a song that pairs Katie Lang with Take Six. Now, first of all, anytime you say Take Six, you're immediately going to get my attention.
Yeah.
And then I was like, they have an artist paired with them. I need to hear it. And then I heard it and I was like, oh my God. Then I needed to look her music up and see what I had been missing. And so Tasha Wanda said earlier, for those, she said, I love flat-footed singing. I do too. And the people who can open their mouths and have beautiful tone and control and just command of the lyricism, they're going to get me every time. And I was like, how have I not heard about Katie Lang? She is also a trendsetter in the idea that I don't know that she necessarily considers herself to be trans, but she is very asexual. So her presentation was not dependent on being floofed up and prettied up. And her whole thing is, I'm going to sing well, and I'm going to sing beautiful music, and y'all are going to like it. And I so appreciate that. So her first album was titled Ingenue, and that was where she came into prominence. And so, so I started filling in, but it's this particular album, the song that that I'm sharing with you tonight comes from an album titled Invincible Summer. So clearly when Cherie said beach, I was like, oh, well, yeah, okay. Yep, we're going to play something from this. And this song, as far as pop goes, is grown folks pop. And it's just delightful. It sounds like laughter to me. Laughter at the beach. So I hope you will appreciate this. It's called Summer Fling.
my summer flame. I heard that.
All right. So for those of you who are confused, I didn't say I was playing the song with Take Six. The song from the Dick Tracy soundtrack with k.d. lang and Take Six is called Riding the Rails, and it is mwah, chef's kiss. It is awesome. And Take Six have nothing but amazing things to say about her. They on one of, I love the behind the scenes thing. So on one of their, we used to do the documentaries for the albums, and they talked about that experience, and they were like, when the label put them together with her, they were like, okay. And then they got in the studio with her and they were like, oh, she's legit. So it just became this thing. It's a great song. Riding the Rails, Dick Tracy soundtrack, k.d. lang and Take Six.
Go check it out.
And so Tasha Wanda just wanted to make sure. That's what I said. I was like, I don't think she considers herself trans. She's just always, been very, I'm not really femme identified. So thank you. Right. Yes. All right. And that takes us to our halfway point, ladies and gentlemen.
Just like that.
Yes. If you are just tuning in, Cherie selected tonight's theme for the programming, and it is Taking It to the Beach. So we are giving you sounds of summer as we prepare to say an official farewell to the summer vacation season this weekend. Labor Day ends it all. We officially are back on the grind. And listen, and what is it, today or tomorrow? Pumpkin spice latte is beginning to hit all of the coffee shops. So yeah, people.
You know what? Now that I drink iced lattes, I usually get either caramel or mocha. Mocha is like my favorite, but I started out with caramel. Maybe I'll try a pumpkin spice iced latte if they have that coming up. I've never tried it. I hope it's not nasty.
It's not. It's just the same spices that are used in pumpkin pie are used in the coffee drink. So it's not bad. I think I turn my nose up at the hype.
Oh yeah. But it's just hype. But I'm a person who's always loved like spice cake.
Yeah, and they're warm. They're those warm spices. So if you like that, then you're gonna like a pumpkin spice latte.
I'm scared though. I'm gonna start out with like a small, because if it's nasty, I'm gonna be mad as heck, and I will need I'm gonna get a backup. Listen, because don't mess around. I'll be mad. I don't want to be mad. Okay, I've never had it. And it's weird. It is crazy because a hot latte, either mocha. Well, I've had them make a mistake and make my lattes hot.
Daphne was like, "Don't bring that mess at me." And of course, down there, it's hotter than it is in other places.
It's gonna stay warm down there longer.
Much longer.
In New Orleans, it's gonna stay warm longer.
Yes. For sure. But yeah, start with a small, try it, see how you feel.
And I'm gonna get my
I
belt.
know some people that rave, they wait for this time of year. So
I know a lot of people do.
yeah, it's too hype. That's how I feel about watching TV shows that everybody is all up. The only exception, I'm admitting this because I heard that season 3 is ready to come, was Game of Thrones and House of Dragons. I have to watch them in real time. And now Gilded Age. Now that I'm caught up, season 4, when it's ready and it's going to be focused on the Black folks, I'm in.
Gilded Age? What is that? Where's that? I don't know that.
It is HBO. It is a period piece, but instead of the ones that are set in Britain that we love, this one is set in New York.
Okay, I'm gonna go look for that.
And Erica Armstrong Dunbar is one of the executive producers. Salamisha Tillett is one of the executive producers.
What?
So it's got Penn all up in it.
Yes. Oh my God.
I'm just saying, yes, you should definitely
I will
check it out.
watching that. Oh my God. Well, I usually come late to the party with TV shows. I don't know. I think because I like that whole fantasy thing. Before there was hype around Game of Thrones, I watched it from the very beginning. I didn't know there was a hype. You know, if I stumble across love, and I stumble across love all the time because I don't know. I'm like late to the party. But that one, I was on it and I loved it. It was disgusting a lot of times.
Very
disgusted. But it was good. And then I would be pissed off too. It's like I had all these emotions when I watched it, but it was good.
Yes.
And then the what was the second one? What was the
House of Dragons?
House of Dragons. Oh, amazing. So I'm ready to the Gilded Age.
Gilded Age, yeah, it's a whole different vibe.
I'm gonna look at it tonight, and I can't wait to check that out. But yeah,
they are 3 seasons in. I binged this summer, so it is beautiful. Okay. So I'm highly recommending it. But let's go back to the music, and we unfortunately, we got another dearly departed. You
what in the world is?
But at least this is a group, so so we're dealing with legend, but also remaining members, continuing and such a strong legacy of music that has been spoken about very recently. So we are steeped in this history.
Yeah, my songs are all tragic, y'all. I got it's basically a funeral on my side. I'm sorry. But
You're not lying. It's just like I hadn't thought about it like that until you said it. I was like, yeah.
So, but again, we relish in the fact that we have all this great music, and this music is giving us a bit of euphoria, holding on to summer as we about to say bye to it this year, and this song was released right before the band's performance at Woodstock. Mm-hmm. And Woodstock, they just blew all the way up. And this is one of those bands that purely funk. Like, I don't even know. It's so hard to describe Sly and the Family Stone. It's hard.
But they are at the root. They are at the root of the funk, right along with James Brown. Yes. Sly and James Brown are the soil that funk sprang from.
But with them, they had like, they were so quirky and weird, and then they still had R&B. Like, it was just.
But wait, you say that like funk bands weren't out there, if only for the dress. If only for the outfits. Funk bands, you were like, okay, they on some extra.
Yes, the Ohio Players was in Cameo. Yeah, they all and Cameo started funk y'all out. You know, they kind of moved away from the funk and went more towards the R&B, but they started out, they was funk. Okay. Mm-hmm. So, but Sly and the Family Stone was funk, and Sly didn't give a dang. It was like, you know, Parliament Funkadelic before Parliament Funkadelic, with all the costumes and stuff. They didn't care, but they were great musicians, and that's why they had everything in that band. Mm-hmm. And this song was the first song that came to mind when I was like, let's do, beaches, song that brings us to the beach. And of course it's yeah, Sugarfoot, man, Sugarfoot wasn't no joke. And I just loved his he always had that great afro, and I loved how
Yes.
his mouth was shaped. I'm sorry, I facial features always anyway. Yeah, and this song, Hot Fun in the Summertime, peaked at the number 2 spot on the Billboard Hot 100. It was kept out of number 1 by Can't Get Next to You by The Temptations. Okay.
Well, I'm gonna say if something has created the glass ceiling, I mean, it can't get much better than that. So
You see, and then it reached number 3 though on the Billboard Soul Singles chart. This song, Hot Fun in the Summertime, was a single. It was released as a single. It was supposed to be on an album that they were in the progress of making at one point. That was going to include Everybody Is a Star and Thank You for Letting Me Be My Friend. I mean, be my friend. Not thank you for being a friend. Thank you for letting me be myself again. But they never finished that LP. So all 3 of those tracks wound up on their greatest hits album
yep.
that they released in 1970. So it's not associated with an album. It was a single and did so well. So this was, and you, as you know, we Sly Stone recently passed away. That's where my whole, we're going to continue with the wake and funeral situation I got going on with tonight's songs. But again, we want to hold on to summer, and this song is absolutely summer. Okay,
Yeah.
the beach. Go to the beach. This is a song that you are thinking of, even if it wasn't on your mind before, and it is "Hot Fun in the Summertime" by Sly and the Family Stone.
That's right.
End of the spring, and here she comes back. Hi, 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 hi there. Them summer days, those summer days. That's when I have most of my fun back. Hi, 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 hi there. Them summer days, those summer days. I cry nights when I want to. Out of school, yeah. County fair in the country sun, and everything is true. Oh yeah. Rock the fun in the summertime. 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 First of the fall, and then she goes back. Bye, 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 bye there. Them summer days, those summer days. When I want to. Out of school. County fair in the country sun, and everything is cool. Oh yeah. Rock the fun in the summertime. Hey, hey, hey. Oh yeah.
I heard that
I'm putting this back up on the screen, Tasha wanted, so we can discuss. She said that piano intro reminds her of another. Listen, I think that it's that transition between doo-wop and and the still harmony singing, but that stutter piano thing, I agree. It is familiar. I think it was in more than one other song. I just think that style came along around that time. But yes, if anybody else has suggestions of another specific song where you're like, oh yeah, that started very similarly, let us know. Put it in the chat.
Right.
And we will share. And so, when you say beach to me,
yes,
I'm not thinking just nationally, I'm thinking globally.
Yes.
And that is what led me to my next selection, because there is something to be said for those of you who have never visited Brazil. I highly recommend it. And now you can go, there are several areas, cities, regions that you can visit in Brazil to get the feeling of what this song is going to conjure up. However, if you want to be with the Blackness, then you must journey to Salvador do Bahia, Brazil.
That's right.
Because if you know your history, you know that of the transatlantic slave trade, half of those who were transported from Africa ended up in Brazil, not just ended up in South America. Half ended up in the country, the very large country of Brazil.
Yes.
And Bahia is the place where Sharice and I learned we don't look like foreigners.
Not.
We and Sharice and I don't look alike.
Right.
But we look like everybody in Bahia.
And everybody in Bahia look like us.
Yes. It is the whole country, that mixture of the indigenous, the African, and the European,
Right.
that people think of as the African American mix. It is, but we have less indigenous in us here.
Right.
But there we are the entire rainbow of complexions, hair textures, everything. You will walk down a block in Bahia and see people that look like your family.
Yes.
And if you're like us
and start talking to you and thinking that you're going to speak Portuguese to them because that's what they're going to be speaking to you, and look at you like you crazy when you like,
so sorry.
that was me.
I've learned some songs phonetically, but I don't speak the language.
Absolutely.
Oh, so Bahia is an experience that every Black person on the planet needs to have.
Agreed.
And Sharice and I got to go and experience Carnival. And the first year was a celebration of the Africanness in Brazil. So if there was ever a time where we were going to feel like we fit right in, it was absolutely 2002.
Absolutely.
And just beautiful, beautiful. But this next artist has been associated with the neo soul era, even though she's not one of the big names that people think of when they think of that period. But most people do not know the extent of her catalog. They know the first album because a song called Seeing is Believing was very, very popular.
Mm-hmm.
But Adriana Evans has more than just that one album. And it was her sophomore album, El Camino, that is the one that spawned this song that I'm sharing with you all tonight. And it is everything that Sharice and I experienced partying in the streets and lying on the beach of this beautiful, beautiful Brazilian city. So I hope you all will look this up and appreciate all that this is bringing. It was like, it was taking a minute to come up too. Wait, hold on a second. Yes. So again, from the album El Camino, this is Adriana Evans, and the song is called Bluebird. Bluebird? Is it Bluebird? Wait a minute. Yes. Just making sure I wasn't going to misquote it. Bluebird in Bahia.
I heard that.
When I tell you that is the sound of Bahia, that
Completely.
is the sound of Bahia, so perfectly captured. Like,
The drums alone sound like all those Afro Blacos
yes.
that we listened to and fell in love with while we were there.
And you know, I feel like I'm putting in a pitch for a tour. But y'all, after you march for miles with an Afro Blacko during Carnival, you are tired and hungry.
Yes.
And I just remember the thing that sticks with me perhaps the most of that trip was making a trip to the fish market at 1 in the morning. So I need y'all to understand. I don't normally eat at night like that. I'm
Right.
normally asleep because I'm a morning person.
Right.
But just the hype, the adrenaline of being at Carnival and doing all those things. But honest to God, y'all, a bowl of fish stew, moqueca, a caipirinha in the glass,
Yes, ma'am.
lots of beautiful black people of all shades and stripes,
Yes.
talking, laughing, drinking, eating, just having a great time.
On the beach.
Yes. And I sat back in my chair. And because you don't have all of that distraction from street lights and everything else, I looked up and felt like the Big Dipper was sitting at the end of my nose. Like the entire sky it was perfect cloudless night. It was like 70 degrees. So it's just warm and gorgeous. And it felt like every star in the heavens was close enough to touch. Just, it's one of those things that like you want to shed a thug tear because it was just
Perfect.
that beautiful.
That was a perfect. It was just perfect. I'm so glad that I was able to experience that.
Yes.
Man, let me tell you something. You got to be prepared now. But the thing about, so I was about to say you have to be prepared if you're going for Carnival.
Yes, you do.
But if my next time going, I want to go off the I don't want to go during Carnival. I want to go when everybody just chilling out, because if you go during Carnival, forget about it. You just better be there for Carnival, or you're gonna just be in the house. And you could do that if you wanted to. But we went to plenty of beaches while we were there, and that Mercado de Peixe was like the cherry on top of a few nights, because and think about something that's open that late and they still making food. We ain't talking about a fast food place. We're talking about restaurants on the beach that you had choices to go to get most likely some kind of seafood. That was my first time seeing shrimp with all the legs and all the heads and all the tentacles and all that stuff. I didn't eat that. And that was my first time seeing soft shell crab. People eating that, I still don't understand that, but people eat sunflower seeds and eat the shell. I think it's similar to, that's what it reminds me of. But
It just doesn't. They shed the hard exterior, and then it's just the soft, mushy insides. It's natural.
No, thank you.
I'm just saying.
And that was because of us being in Bahia. I'm not if you know me, I'm not a seafood person per se. I eat some seafood stuff, including fish, but I just didn't. I was learning at that time in 2002 that fish is regional. Never thought about it because it wasn't something that I ate growing up because I didn't like it. But that was one of the places that I learned that fish is regional, and that I like the fish. I like the fish that comes out of Jamaica, and I like the fish that be swimming around in Bahia, apparently, because we were in a group about 30 of us, and this was just for more context. We went to Bahia for Carnival with a group that was headed by Lamar Red Cross, who is the son of the Red Cross family who owns October Gallery, which is in Philadelphia. Black owned art gallery. That's where I got my first Black artist pieces. I got that from October Gallery. Anyway, Lamar used to do trips to Bahia 3 times a year. He did it for a Carnival, which is what Stephanie and I did, and I did it twice. He did it for the festival. They not the what is it, Day of the Dead summer, and then he did it during Thanksgiving, our Thanksgiving holiday. He did another trip. So you go there, and like Stephanie said, it's the blackest it has the most retained, the second most retained African culture in the world, behind Africa, of course.
Right.
So you're definitely gonna feel black there. But the for me, I never liked fish, and we were in this house and the lady was cooking for us, and every day it was some fish thing on the table, and then it was like all this other stuff, all this fruit, pineapples, everything fresh, bread, beans, rice, all this stuff. I was a vegetarian for a minute. You know I like meat. And one day she put this fish dish on the table and it smelled so good. I had to try it. I don't know what kind of fish it was, but it was like a white fish. It was firm, and it was like this white garlic sauce that she had. That's what I was smelling, and you know I love garlic. Man, I was like, "Oh, I'm trying this," and I hadn't tried it no other day, but that day I couldn't take it, and it was delicious. So, going after hours, going to the Mercado de Peixe was like, okay, I'm gonna try it again. You know, like I'm gonna try. I don't know. I might like it. So in general, I'm not gonna get a fish. I'm not going to any restaurant getting a fish plate. But when I was in Bahia, I totally forgot about that until now. I have paid for and bought a plate of some kind of seafood. It was fish for me, ever in my life. That was the only time though, and it was delicious.
I was gonna say, y'all know I'm from DC. Seafood is a way of life. so that attitude that Sharice just expressed to you, I don't understand. Like because
I grew up with whitings and porgy and fish sticks and the fish cakes that they used to give you in school. And I didn't want that. It was disgusting to me. and I realized that I wasn't in favor of whiting and porgy. But now I've eaten whiting in my adult life. I haven't had it in a while, but I've eaten whiting and it was okay. So, again, it's your taste changed. I used to hate cornbread and I used to hate cabbage growing up. I love both of them. So
yeah, I mean, this is an exploration. I'm glad that Bahia gave you that insight to say, hey, this ain't half bad. I should.
Yeah, y'all know I'll try anything about once. Not once. Twice if I like it.
Well, those people who know you, we have reached our final two selections. And you know what you haven't heard, right? So you know what you're about to hear.
So to correct myself, when I thought of this theme, Hot Fun in the Summertime was not the first song that I thought of. It was the second one. The first one was this one. Mm-hmm. It was released in 1984. I remember when the song came out. Yes, I remember when the song came out because I was like, what is this? Like, it was totally out the blue. Yes, it was
84. Wait a minute. Wait. That would make it after The Wiz and after Off the Wall and after Thriller.
Yes, because it was one of those songs that they archived. It was recorded in 1973 with some other stuff that they are, Motown was forever archiving stuff.
They had people in lab all the time. Yes.
You would think they didn't have enough material to just release whole albums with all original material, but they love doing like archiving stuff and putting it in a vault and then releasing it years later. So the thing about this song, Farewell My Summer Love, it was great because you got to juxtapose Michael Jackson's voice from those albums that you just mentioned, and then juxtapose them against how he sounded in 73 when he was, still coming. I know, Brian, but I love cornbread now, so it's all good. And mind you,
he's about to put a red check on your black card.
Right? I came around. I came around. It just took some doing. And my mother made great cornbread. So I was bugging. I mean, my taste buds weren't ready yet, you know. Sorry.
Okay.
But I'm here now. I'm here. I'm all the way here. So this actually, the album Farewell My Summer Love is a compilation album. And it includes, like I said, some songs that were archived that he recorded as a solo artist in 1973 from January to October. Like that year, they had him in the studio. Maybe they didn't like the songs or something. They, they hold on to it or whatever. And they like, you know what? Let's release this album with all these random songs on it.
I cannot believe they didn't release it till then.
They
Because
didn't.
I know. I
remember when it came out, because at that point I was obsessed. You see what I'm saying? I was obsessed at that point. And I was like, oh my God.
I want everybody in the audience to look at my side of the screen right now. At that point, she said at that point, I was obsessed.
I was. Because listen, but this is the thing. This is crazy because I grew up singing Michael Jackson, Jackson 5 songs. I remember those songs, but I didn't focus in on the artist until I was about 12, right? 12/13, right around the time of Off the Wall was already out, but right around the time that Thriller came out. And really it wasn't even Thriller, it was the Victory Tour that really made me like focus in on the Jacksons. And then I, retroactively became completely awestruck by his childhood voice and delivery at that time. So I had discovered the childhood voice. I was already in with the at that point Off the Wall, Victory, and Triumph, though,
Yeah.
And then they come out with this. I was like, oh my God. I just remember the excitement I had with this song. And because it wasn't a part of an album, I was like waiting. I had to wait for, because there wasn't any, I don't know, they didn't release other stuff off of this, at least not initially, this compilation album. So it was almost like it stood alone for a long time. And I'm like, then they didn't really play it that much on the radio. So it was like I had to catch it when it was played. And so anyway, that's my story. That's my story.
I mean, I knew you were going to have a song of his just because, but for those of you who don't keep up with these things, Friday would be his birthday. So I was like, it's entirely appropriate to share a song in this show anywho. So it all works.
That's my boy. And his birthday is coming up. And yeah, so I'm always going to do a throwback, and this is the time when again we were able to rediscover, his voice from almost 10 years earlier. That and it's always good to hear new songs. He got stuff that's being released right now that was never released before. So it's always cool. And again, that's that whole Motown thing. I'm talking about the stuff that he has. Obviously is not on Motown, but Motown probably started that in him, just recording stuff and holding on to it, putting it in a vault and never releasing it, or going back to release it way, way, way after. So yeah, this was one of those things that Motown did, and it was a hit. Farewell My Summer Love by Michael Jackson.
Yes.
Farewell, my summer love. Farewell, girl, I won't forget you. Farewell, my summer love. Farewell, ooh. someone that you don't forget. No, I'll never forget you. And maybe next year when you're out of school, you'll return. But until you do, baby, bye-bye, don't turn around. You might see me cry. Farewell, summer love. Farewell, girl, I won't forget you. Farewell, summer love. Farewell, yeah. If you remember my name, drop a line sometime. Yeah, yeah. Ooh, girl, I won't forget you. Farewell, my summer love. Farewell, girl, I won't forget you. When you return to your hometown and you discuss your trip, will I be the guy that you put down, or someone that you don't forget? No, I'll never forget you. And maybe next year when you're out of school, you'll return. But until you do, baby, bye-bye, don't turn around. You might see me cry. Farewell, my summer love. Farewell, ooh, yeah. Farewell, summer love. Farewell, yeah. Farewell, summer love. Farewell, yeah, yeah. Farewell, summer love. Farewell, yeah, get you.
I heard that. It's such a
That's my
sweet
song.
It's such a
That's my
sweet song.
It is.
And you know, I love good intervals. Maybe next year when you're out of school.
Yes,
Like,
yes.
you know what I mean? Like you got
And I
that
love how-
note placement. Like, yes.
Yes. And I love how he holds ends.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that was his thing.
Yeah, he always held an end. If he ended a line with an end, with a word that ended with an end, he was holding that end.
Yes.
I love that. I always loved that about him. But even when he was a kid, he did that.
Yes.
Ends and N's and M's,
Yep.
he was holding that.
Yeah. Absolutely is a signature thing for sure. That song just makes me smile. I'm gonna be singing that interval randomly in my head for several days now that we played that for people.
Yes, yes.
Well, for my final selection of the night, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going in another place where you're probably like, huh? But you got to understand how we get here, because my high school had, you know, my buddy Priest the Nomad, who was our very first guest on this program, very first show, has a documentary out now talking about his journey into hip hop as the kid from the city of Go-Go. And it's called I Was the Weirdo for that reason, right? So I hung with a band of misfits in high school. And partly because like one of my close buddies was one of the only friends of mine that had her own car. So listen, when your friend got a car and she's like, let's go, you like, yup.
Yes.
You out. And so, you know, in her, what was it, a Chevette? It was probably a Chevette. And she had the keychain that said, my other car is a Jag. And so she called the Chevette BJ for Baby Jag because he's aspirational.
Yeah.
And, back then we had cassette decks in the car. And so riding with Kim was the first time I heard the music of Michael Franks. And I was like, what is this? I love it. And I don't know why I love it. His voice is kind of weird, but the music is really good. Like I have conflicted feelings as I'm listening to all of this. I was like, if Kermit the Frog made an album, it would be Michael Franks. But just loved the vibe, loved the chill and the poetry of the lyrics. And so I have followed him and I have bought, I think, all but one album. And a lot of people might have stopped any knowledge of Michael Franks around the time that he recorded with Joe Sample. On the Spellbound album, he sang a song called Leading Me Back to You. And radio has not been checking for Michael Franks. So if you're a person who buys music because you hear it played on commercial radio, you may not have ever heard his name, let alone have heard of anything that he did in the 90s forward. But Michael Franks has released new music as recently, I should say, as about a year ago. He's still recording. He still looks like a neighbor. Like you could pass him on the street at any given moment and it would be no thing. Right. He is not a celebrity in any sense of that recognizable fame, but I love his music. And he is consistently poetic and thoughtful and romantic and all the things that I love in a good beach song. So when Sharice gave me this theme, I was like, oh, we got to include Michael Franks. And so from the album called Time Traveler, I present to you a more recent version of Michael Franks. And this song is totally befitting of the theme. It's called One Day in Saint-Tropez.
Was 1963. We toured through France, my thumb and me. We Yankees then were seen as friends, and so I bummed my way summer day to Saint-Tropez. Outside Toulon, an XKE on some blue highway stopped for me. The driver's seat held blonde Brigitte, with whom I parled français. That summer day in Saint-Tropez. At her villa I met Marcello and other distingués of cinema français. That poolside star noticed my guitar, and my shyness flew away when she asked me to play. Could it have been my naive face, my Martin in its cardboard case? I tuned the strings, played some Joby, my hostess to repay. That summer day in Saint-Tropez.
I heard that.
That right there is that could have been playing when we were at Mercado de Page at 1:00 in the morning, and it would have been absolutely the perfect wind down. You see what I'm saying?
And Michael Frank, like I said, Michael Franks looks like your gardener neighbor that
Yes.
you pass every day on your way to work, and you like, hey, how you doing? He gives off all that, but his music consistently has that kind of wide, airy, tropical kind of feel.
Yes.
Now, his first album was very country-ish,
Okay.
but over the last 40 years that he's been
Right,
making music, that's where he has settled. That is his groove, though you would never look like that is what would come out of his mouth. But
Right.
that is what he writes. That is what he records, and I am very thankful for it.
I am too, and he definitely does sound like Kermit the Frog. A little, not just like Kermit, but like if Kermit went and got voice lessons.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, it is what it is. It's very distinctive.
Yeah.
There are not a whole lot of people in the music industry that sound like him. You know it's a Michael Frank song when you hear it, largely because of the voice and the vibe.
Right. And it's so breathy. And it works. It's not like, but again, that is that wind down vibe. Like you ain't about to be dancing and stuff like this. You might be night swimming, doing, at
good
night.
Wine, good adult libation on some level. Yes. That is his sound.
You chilling. You ain't about to be turned up. You like, okay, I done partied all day and all night. Now it's time to chill right on out. So
for us, that is nighttime on the patio at Villanilla.
Yes, ma'am. Still blasting. Still blasting.
Yes.
But yes, the vibe it does change. You out the water. I mean, I swam at night one time and that was it for me because I was absolutely I could have killed myself and whatever I thought that I saw
Stepped on. Yeah.
coming up
I
in the water.
like saw, stepped on, felt, moved through the water. Listen, no, not nighttime swimming, not for Steph.
We,
Mm-mm.
we all wasn't gonna make it. Me and whatever I thought I saw, we was about to die together. So that was the one time, yeah. At
Yeah.
the house, the one time at the house, because at the house there was no light on the water.
Right.
It was as if you were swimming in black water because
Yeah.
it was
It
no.
was it was moonlight or nothing. So
Now
mm-mm.
down the in the on the hip strip at the end where a lot of people didn't go, they had Night Beach there where it was lit up and it was
Mhm.
bad people. I always made sure there was somebody beyond me. So if something did come and wanted to get a snack, at least give me a head start because I don't move it. I never move as fast as they did. Them people swim like fish, but this was tourists as well. So make sure it was like a good number of people over there and the beach is that away. So
Yeah.
I just made
Wait.
sure that I had
And natives that grew up on the beach, because how many native Jamaicans did we meet that didn't swim? I was like, what?
I never understood
Where
that.
they do that at? Because in the hills.
Yes.
In the hills. If you grow up in the hills, the beach is a luxury.
Yeah.
So they just didn't, but you would never think, y'all.
You wouldn't, but
You
they
would never think. There are plenty of Jamaicans that don't swim.
yeah, you living up the mountains. They have rivers, but they didn't have the ocean. So
Right. Exactly. Well, that concludes our playlist. So, Sharice, if you would, especially for the people that did not join us in the very beginning,
yes,
please
yes.
run down our playlist for this evening. And
This
yes,
evening we had taking it to the beach was our theme, and it's to say farewell to the summer. Y'all complained about the heat, and now it's gone. It's your fault. So, but Stephanie and I have traveled the world, beaches around the world, and so this was, that is indicative of the fact that we both love the beach. Okay,
for
and
sure.
it's why I don't swim in the Jersey Shore. I don't get in that water. I tried it one time and I needed out the water. Okay, but that's neither here nor there. Tonight we shared songs that will bring you back to the beach, put you in the vibe of being on the beach, whether you turned up at the beach, whether you winding down on the beach, whether you want to go to the beach, whatever it is. That's what we were doing tonight. And
Yes.
we started with Sitting on the Dock of the Bay by the one and only Otis Redding. From the Dock of the Bay album that was released posthumously in 1968. Theme within the theme. I was having a funeral with these songs. I didn't realize it. I didn't realize it, but yeah. So then we had Free Again from Ledisi from her debut album called Soul Singer, which was released in 2000. Then we had Under the Boardwalk by the Drifters, from the album with the same name, which was released in 1964, and their version of this song, which was remade by a host of other artists.
Yeah.
Their version of the song was inducted into the Grammy Hall of Fame in 2014. Then we had Summer Fling by Katie Lang, which is on her Invincible Summer album from 2000. Same year as Ledisi's Soul Singer album. See, you had,
I was like, we talk about golden era of hip hop, but that era of music in general is
Very
sweet
good.
spot for me.
Yes. And then we had Hot Fun in the Summertime by Sly and the Family Stone, which was, that was the title song from that album that was released in 1969. Well, I'm sorry. This wasn't an album. This was a single. Hot Fun in the Summertime was released as a single. It was supposed to be um a part of an album, along with Thank You for Letting Me Be Myself Again and Everybody Is a Star. Those 3 songs were completed. They never completed the album. So all 3 of those tracks wound up on their greatest hits compilation that they released in 1970. So Hot Fun in the Summertime was never part of an album. It was a single until it got on that greatest hits album. Then we had Bluebird in Bahia from Adriana Evans on her El Camino album that was released in 2007. If you are black, anybody can go. Anybody can go. That we ain't. But if you're black, make your way at least once in your life to Salvador de Bahia in Brazil. It is the blackest place that you will go outside of Africa. It's the second most retained African culture in the world, behind Africa. When you go there, I don't care what shade of black you are. I don't care what texture your hair is. I don't care how big or small your nose, your lips, your forehead, your body. It doesn't matter. You're going to see people who look like you, and they're going to think you're from Bahia. And they're not going to believe you until you start speaking English. They'll believe you then. But before that, before you open your mouth, they're going to think you're from Bahia too. It's a beautiful place to be. It's beautiful to see that much African culture in a place that you wouldn't even have thought it to be. But I mean, you think about the history of the transatlantic slave trade, it makes perfect sense. They had under that circular market, I forgot what it's called, the round
Pelourinho?
No, it was right near the elevator to go up. Well, is that Pelourinho?
I think so.
The down is down and you get the elevator to go up. Yeah, that market downstairs in that round market is where they used to bring the enslaved Africans in to process them or whatever, and that's still in existence down there. I didn't know that when we were there. I didn't know that. I'm glad I didn't, because I would have been down there like, ugly crying. Upstairs is a marketplace. And if you think about it, this was a marketplace for these enslaved Africans during that time. So they have a lot of retained information, a lot of retained artifacts and things like that, and a lot of retained culture. A lot. If you ain't never, that's where I learned about Yoruba when I was in Bahia. So just saying, if you black, make your way. If you want to go, we'll work it out. I don't think Lamar doing his trips no more, but he still would have a lot of information as far as trying to navigate that and making it a trip. I'm not going for Carnival, so if you want to go for Carnival, you're on your own.
You're right.
I'll go in there. So, and then we had Farewell My Summer Love by my boy Michael Jackson, whose birthday is coming up on the 29th. And then we had One Day in Saint-Tropez by Michael Franks from his album Time Together 2011. And the Farewell My Summer Love is a compilation album that was released in 1984. These songs, at least most of the songs, I'm not sure if it's all of the songs, but this song and other songs were archived. He recorded them in 1973, and they were archived, but then released in 1984. So after we had Off the Wall, after Thriller, after Victory, after Triumph, we had this, younger
throwback. It was a throwback project.
Adolescent / young adult Michael Jackson voice that you were able to get, and everybody was excited. But that's it.
Yes, all great.
Now, I mean, listen, I need to go to a beach at this point and just sit there and play this whole list. Okay.
Yes, dig toes in some sand. I agree with you. I definitely feel that. Well, we appreciate you as always for sticking around with us and listening to this good music and vibing with us. I want to put back up on the screen, though, for those of you who might have missed it, that we are trying to expand our platforms and give you more opportunities to catch us whatever way is most convenient for you. So if you have not already done so, and very few of you have, because we just haven't been pushing to get people to follow the account, but now we know we are cleared to broadcast on TikTok. And so we want you to follow the Soul Sanctuary Inc. account on TikTok, just so you have the option. If you have a TikTok account, this is yet another way that you will be able to tune into the show in the future when we come back in September. You can see us on TikTok, and we just, want to acknowledge that we have been encouraged to expand our horizons and our income making potential.
Yes.
And so, the opportunity to go viral and to have a captive audience, check us out on TikTok. We now have the ability to do so. So please follow Soul Sanctuary Inc. on TikTok, the exact same handle that you have on YouTube. So it should be easy to remember, easy to get to. Follow us, tell your friends. And in September, we will start broadcasting this show on TikTok as well.
Yes.
Any other final words you want to share with the people, Cherise?
Nope. I just appreciate all of the support. We enjoy hanging out with you guys every other week. And hopefully with the addition of the TikTok thing, we'll reach more and more people. But in the meantime, when you come, bring somebody with you.
Bring a friend.
Or few. Bring a friend or few, and let them hang out and learn some stuff and teach some stuff, because we don't only give out information. Thank you, Auntie Mary Alice.
Yes, thank you.
But we also learn from the people in the comments, and I know that that we'll get even more knowledge as we broaden our audience. So we appreciate all of you, our day ones, our day twos, and our day 15s, all of you guys. We love that you decide that you look for us to come back every other week, and we hope that we continue to keep your interest in that way, and that you continue hanging out with us and engaging with us. We love it. It's the fun.
Yes. And we hope
that please, if you have suggestions for themes, reach out, let us know, because it's hard to think of these themes. I struggle every time it's my turn to think of a theme. I am struggling. Okay. So if you have suggestions, even if it could be something that we've done before, but we revisit themes as well. But if you have suggestions, definitely reach out. And if you reach out to me, I'm going to ask you for a song. So you'll get to share music as well. So,
Thank you, Tiffany, for following us on TikTok. That's right. Tell your people. We want to fill that up so that as we broadcast there, we're reaching out to a lot of other people. But with that, we wish you all a very safe, restful, happy Labor Day weekend if you're here in the States, and take good care of yourselves. As Tiffany said, do some earthing while we're gone, and Lord willing,